Star Wars Outlaws is an unparalleled disaster for Ubisoft, and it's only gonna get worse when Assassin's Creed Shadows drops.
Today is going to be fun because our friends at Ubisoft have managed to step in their own landmine. You see, here's the thing that's going on.
Like they typically do.
Gaming is hooked on a new drug, and that drug is paid for advanced access. Most large budget games seem to have it now, and
Ubisoft has been doing this forever. This is absolutely nothing new forever. This is like being surprised that Capcom is selling pay-to-win currencies in the games.
it's almost always targeted at that pre-release weekend, because what would you rather do? Would you rather play a new game all weekend just like how you used to when you were a kid? Or would you rather play during the week when you got chores, responsibilities, when your time's precious and you're more likely to be distracted and therefore enjoy your game less? I think for most of
Well, this is kind of a reasonable take, but honestly, I think the pre-order thing is just pure hype at this point. Hype sells games way more, and especially early access, you know? If you are hyped for a game, you want to play it as fast as possible, and this is where the 3 to 4 day, 5 day, and, well, let's be real, at some point it's going to be 1 month. At some point, it's going to be the pre-early access release is going to be like 1 month, 100%. Oh, it's going to be something.
us the answer is obvious, and that's why so many companies are doing this. So this week we've seen Ubisoft enter a bit of a nightmare scenario. We've seen Blizzard pull off the same thing with Warcraft, and even the most exciting consumer-friendly looking games are also unable to resist the clear allure of what is clearly as good as just free money. And
4 days? I honestly just said 4 or 5 days as a joke. Currently, everything is 3-day pre-release. Oh, wow. Oof, that's kind of a little bit sad. But yeah, again, this is gonna probably extend to the point where the pre-release early access is like a month in advance at some point. There's no reason why they shouldn't do it. Look at this. This is already 4 days. I didn't think anything is 4 days, but well, there's probably stuff that's even 7 days early access, to be honest. But yeah, this is bad.
it's a shame because controversial noise like this crowds out the pure and simple enjoyment of our hobby. And I'm going to pay the bills of today's sponsor. Boot.dev/Bellular News, who exists to teach you backend development using Python and Go. Players during the advanced access period found that they could run into progression blocking bugs, and these would just leave them stranded in space. So that obviously sucks, and to have that
there's multiple bugs that actually completely hard block you from completing the game. So, if you're not downloading the new patch, well, you're good luck playing the game.
happened during the advanced access period is especially bad. That's for a few reasons. I mean, that's something that you're paying for at a premium, either via getting the Ubisoft premium subscription service or via the gold or ultimate editions of the game. I believe the gold edition of the game was like 90-something pounds in the UK, so a hell of a lot of money. And when you're paying that amount of money, you do expect some sort of premium experience, not having lots of bugs.
But you know what I absolutely love about these shitty games? It's the fact that they are so damn stupid and unrealistic. Like, you're in a situation like this. From the context clues that we have here, you just come across 3 people trying to find this alien right here, and you just randomly on a whim decide to kill these 3 people, not knowing what the hell is happening. This could be a murderer. This could be someone who literally just torched an orphanage. And what are you doing? Well, you're just randomly killing the people with the guns because they are definitely bad. Because no solution is violence except when you use violence.
Few reasons. I mean, that's something
so
that you're
stupid.
paying for at a premium, either via getting the Ubisoft premium subscription service or via the gold or ultimate editions of the game. I believe the gold edition of the game was like 90-something pounds in the UK, so a hell of a lot of money. And when you're paying that amount of money, you do expect some sort of premium experience, not having lots of bugs. And that actually gets to a funny thing. Often whenever people are reviewing a video game, what they find is way more bugs than the build that actually comes out. This can be especially bad whenever reviewers aren't given enough time to review a game, and that can be especially rough, of course, if you're talking about a fairly long Ubisoft game like this one. Of course, though, that reviewer experience of,
Fairly long, eh?
I'm writing a review and I don't know whether things will be fixed by the day one patch. That's now an experience that you can pay more money for because the industry's awesome. So what happened is these PS5 players found themselves having progression blocking bugs, and then there's been an update. And Ubisoft...
Why are you just allowed to walk, by the way, literally in anywhere with your stupid rodent little baby Yoda friend?
Sent an email to some of those customers. I'm just going to read out the email. To best experience the Outer Rim, we've rolled out maintenance to make sure everyone's playing the latest version of the game. As one of the players affected who had access to an older version of the game... Sorry, Ubisoft, you might want to reword that. Who we sold access to an older version of the game to. We're aware you might be encountering some issues after the recent patch. We sincerely apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused. Once you've confirmed you have the latest version,
Oh, I hate Ubisoft so much. They just don't care, okay? There's not a single person with even a shred of talent left in this goddamn company. They deserve to burn in hellfire.
please start a new save to fully enjoy Star Wars Outlaws. Yes, they've
Yeah, you play the game, well, guess what? Ubisoft doesn't care and it's a buggy piece of shit. What now? Well, start the new save, buckaroo.
basically said, okay, so we've patched your game, and that's bricked your save, and you need to start a new save in order to have a good experience. By the way, we sold this experience to you for more money. And they go on to say that if you continue in the prior save, you will ultimately experience some issues and progression blockers. So this is absolutely terrible, and the way that this can be facilitated is you've got to sign into Ubisoft in order to actually play the game, and that means they've got a direct way to communicate with their players, which means they can do something like this. Now, of course, being aware of the inconvenience caused, Ubisoft have decided to make good with a follow-up offer. Here's what they said in a follow-up email. We fully acknowledge that asking you to start a new game is not the best experience.
Really? Well, I'll be damned, I could never have guessed that.
That's one way of putting it, especially during the early access period, and for that, we apologize. And just to be clear here, and I know I keep on interrupting Ubisoft's email, how rude of me.
They just did that because they got under fire because what... Dude, imagine, hey, we released a buggy game, yeah, it's bugged, so make a new save while you're effed. Good luck. And they kind of understood, wait a minute, why are people hating on us? Is this really so bad? Yes, it is.
Here's the thing, even if you put 5 or 10 hours into the game, this absolutely sucks. So imagine putting 20 hours into a game that you paid advanced access for, and then they basically
say... If you put 20 hours into this game, you have already finished it.
Sorry, you've just got to start again. Like, for a lot of people, they're not going to spend 20 hours replaying the same damn content that...
By the way, is it just me? Because look at these shafts, okay? Listen. One, I don't understand why actually can a person just climb in there? That seems a little bit abrupt. Two, dude, I'm on an alien planet. I have absolutely no clue about the fauna living in that place. Okay, I am not getting in that elevator shaft. I don't want this size of a spider suddenly looking at me and saying, "Ah, dinner." Okay, I'm not going in there.
Start again. Like, for a lot of people, they're not going to spend 20 hours replaying the same damn content that they just did. Now, Ubisoft do have a plan to make this right, and I'm sure you'll all be pleased about it. To make your return to the Outer Rim a little more special, we're granting you an in-game Trailblazer trinket, as well as 100 Ubisoft Connect units. Yes, 100 Ubisoft Connect units. They say,
what is that, €1?
That this can be redeemed for in-game rewards as an example. Now, of course, you're probably thinking what I thought. What's an Ubisoft credit? What can I redeem those for? Well, basically, you can buy in-game stuff, and you...
Look at this, a Pathfinder helmet. Oh!
Earn one Ubisoft credit unit, or whatever they're called, whenever you spend $1 on the store. So this is $100 worth of credits. And as an example, you can redeem 100 credits for 20% off a game. So this, as a make good, I think is really, really, really bad. Honestly, the way to do this correctly is a refund, right? Like, there should...
The way to do this correctly is not buying Ubi slub games.
be a refund, at least for like the price differential that people would have paid to get the advanced access period. Ubisoft would probably say, but hey, what about all the cosmetics and other things that are in the advanced access version of the game, or maybe the season pass? I mean, I understand that, but you've really messed up people here, because like losing a little bit of value, I mean, sure, that's something you can deal with, but whenever you've effectively taken away people's time, right? People's time, which is a resource that you don't get back, that is extremely serious in my view. So I think this make good is honestly pretty pathetic. Like, even some story.
Now, even if time was something you could get back, even if we were immortal, this is still unacceptable.
Or credit instead of Ubisoft units, that would have been better. Now, you might be wondering, how the hell does this happen? Because seriously, for any game dev, like, the worst thing is your patch damaging people's save data. And the fact that they've done this, and this seems to be some sort of known issue.
Well, this seems easy. It's the fact that Ubisoft could not be asked to care.
But they haven't provided like a save game migration service. That's the thing that's really crazy to me. I understand that you could just have a really terrible time, and the only way that you can fix your game is something that will interrupt an existing save. If that's the case, why the hell are you not trying to do something so that people can migrate their save data over to a new save game or something like that? I suppose it's the sort of thing where I could say that, but engineers at Massive would probably say, sorry, it's actually way more complicated than that. And I do understand that. And maybe one of the reasons why they've not been able to do some sort of thing like that is that they had to do this before the game came out to general audiences. And that kind of cuts to what I just talked about. The idea that reviewers will often play a game, they'll have loads of bugs, and they'll be stuck in this weird position where they're writing their review, but they don't really know, like, will these bugs actually be fixed? Will the performance be better by the day one patch? They just can't really be sure. And now that's an experience that you can pay for and have your time deleted. Now, as for why this could happen, well, games are really complex. Open world games.
I literally could not care less about why a bug happens. I care about the fact that it doesn't happen. I don't care about you developers, okay? I literally could not care less. Do whatever the hell you feel like doing, but make the game good, okay? You being a developer and you having a hard time or blah 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 is not an excuse for me having a bad game.
Games are especially complex, and I know this is not a full-fat Assassin's Creed Valhalla style game. It's definitely one that is, it's quite open world. It's definitely trying to be a little more focused, which I would certainly count as being a good thing. But basically, still a complicated type of game. And in a case like this, they probably aren't able to delay things because think about their marketing. You know, all of that stuff is expensive and everything is synchronized towards the release date. Then you've got retail partners, game discs, all of that. Then you've got problems like the engineering team, who maybe are aware of this, are perhaps not in sync with higher-ups at the company. And maybe those higher-ups are just callous about this sort of problem, or it could be that for the higher-ups, they're thinking about how they're spending their budget. They're thinking about coordinating teams. And that means they...
Dude, the jump on that is so insane. You press the button to jump on something, and it's literally just like, does it like that. It's like a magnet.
Could over-index the negatives of doing something to give engineering more time, because they're probably thinking about wasting time with teams and all the marketing spend that they, of course, have to have coordinated with the launch day of the game. So if they do anything to change the launch day, it could all go tits up. They're probably thinking about all of that, which means that the customer is probably not at the front of their mind. So ultimately, the main victim here is the customers. The secondary victim is the developers, who do not deserve to have their work presented in this manner and who absolutely deserve the opportunity to do things right. Who's at fault here? Well,
bro, this is so inconspicuous. Then all the sequence that we have seen so far just doesn't make any sense. So you can't go into the base because they don't like you, so you sneak into the base and now you're like, aha, everything is fine, and your mission is don't get caught, and you're like, just what?
Probably the company. You see, generally speaking, QA departments do actually find the bugs. It's not really a case of, oh, QA were terrible and bugs slipped in. Very often it's that the dev...
Yeah, the typical situation, by the way, is QA finds bugs, they report them, but the developers don't have time or whatever, so they choose to not patch out some bugs.
don't actually have time to act on all of the bugs before launch. And in a case like this, with a game of this budget and scale, moving a release date back is extremely challenging, even though I think we can all say that probably would have been the right move. I mean, this update, like, as much as this update has caused issues, there were technical problems on PS5. Like, this is an update that does actually make the launch day experience of the game better. It's an update that people should be experiencing as their default. It's just when you start selling advanced access, funnily.
So there's this insane clip of Asmongold playing this shitty game, and he just goes into the bush, melee someone to death, goes back into the bush, 5 people are around him, and he just takes them out one by one, because the moment you enter the bush, it's over. The NPCs can't figure out where you are.
Enough. You may still say that the official release date is your release date, but it's not, because if you've sold your game to a bunch of people such that those people are playing your game before the day 1 patch, then, yeah, congratulations, you've screwed people around. Now, as for Star Wars Outlaws itself, look, I don't think that this is some sort of hyper-offensive, terrible game or anything like that. It very much seems to be like the standard Ubisoft 75 out of 100, where is it going to set the world on fire? No. Would you enjoy it if it is very much targeted towards you?
Love the takedowns.
Yes. So when I look at the visual presentation, some of the world stuff like that, it does seem like
it doesn't seem good. We literally just saw this clip in and this clip in, by the way. And again, if you want to be the lowest IQ person in the room, go ahead. And just say that, oh, this game is amazing. Look at the environment. The environment's not bad, but it's not great. This is as far from great as possible. It doesn't have any meaning to it and doesn't have any depth to it. It's bland, shallow, and boring. And even if it doesn't look that good, sure, it doesn't look that bad, but then again, most games, especially AAA games, they all nail the aesthetics. So Ubisoft doesn't nail the aesthetics against the other AAA games. So this is not a win.
It's offering up a slice of Star Wars that is way more interesting to me than many other slices of Star Wars that we've got. So I would count that as a plus. Looking around, like the characters, the alien designs, I definitely like that. The main thing that I've been disappointed in is that it seems the sort of core A plot is just a little bit underwritten. It doesn't really feel
God, she's so ugly.
Like the stakes are great. However, there are lots of good performances. It does have quite a lot of cinematic flair, and it seems that if you just want a big chunk of romping around in a Star Wars experience, that you will get that. And then the other thing that's a big bummer is the combat AI. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the videos and the screenshots of just NPCs standing around getting murdered. Stuff like that really takes you out of the game, and I mean, like playing Half-Life and some of those games from back in the day that had really, really good, like compelling enemy AI, it's just weird that it seems we've regressed. And I know that whenever you've got a game that is quite large and quite dynamic and you're not really able to tightly script everything, that it is harder to get the sense of
just pull them down and hit them in the helmet where their face isn't even located. Just do it, okay? Full fucking send it, Kay. Girl, boss it up to your heart's content. I'm okay with this.
Good enemy AI in, but it does just seem that it's below par to the point where in this game it is genuinely a problem. Okay, so that's Outlaws. It's not the most offensive game in the universe for many people. They're actually going to have a really great time with it, and they probably will.
No, they won't. Most people are not going to have a really good time with this absolute garbage crap fiesta. Oh man, it's such a disappointment, but it is what it is. Bye.